Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome to Massive Unboxing number 13. We have yet another exciting Christmas unboxing in store for you guys. We have 16 models to unbox with a lot of retro stuff and a couple modern stuff also included. But before we get into the bulk of the content, which is obviously the model unboxings, I did get a few extra gifts that I figured I would show you guys. So here's the first thing here, just a little Pan Am sticker. This actually came with a shirt, which I'll show in just a minute. Speaking of shirts, we did get a few. All of them are retro aviation oriented, so we'll go ahead and show them here. So first up, we do have this one right here, which I'm already zoomed out on the camera far enough, but if you can see there, this is a Continental Airlines shirt with the old contrails or meatball logo. So I'll be wearing that at the Airliners convention down to Dallas in next year. So can't believe that 2023 is like literally right around the corner at this rate. And then our second t-shirt, this one it's a little more closer to home, if you will. We do have this Western Airlines t-shirt. This one is with the swizzle stick or Flying W logo. So this is from like the 70s and 80s or so. And then to complement the Pan Am sticker, also did get this nice blue-colored Pan Am shirt. So this one is a long sleeve, as you can see. So this would be a bit more applicable for cold weather settings, or if a particular environment I was in was a little colder than usual and a short sleeve would not cut it for handling the cold weather. And then also show this as well. We did get the annual calendar once again, so go ahead and unbox this here off camera whilst I get everything all set. And I can't forget about the cardboard piece, but we will not be using it this year because I already do have a little bit of a platform to set it on. But yeah, there is the calendar, ladies and gentlemen. Another good calendar for the upcoming year of 2023, and I'm really looking forward to it. And then one last thing too, before we move on into the model stuff, we did get a few timetables. Here's the first one, a North Central Airlines timetable from February 1st of 1960. So a very old school timetable. And then we also have this next thing over here. I need to find a place to put the timetables. Here's the next batch of timetables. This one has a TWA one, and then this one has also a United one here on the back. So I'm not going to be unboxing these because they are in the plastic sleeves. I will be saving the unboxings for these timetables for a future video, but figured I'd show these just so that they can get some attention. And then we also have a Western Airlines timetable here. This one is from, I think, like 1987 or something. There might be a 75 one in there. This one is an older North Central Airlines timetable, so this one looks really cool. And then we also have this American Airlines timetable from 1992. It is a really thick timetable, as you can see. This is the only timetable that's in this plastic sleeve. And then we also have this other one here from November. The other one was from September 15th. So yeah, again, this is another really thick timetable, as you can see. And then the next one that we have then is this one right here. We got another Western Airlines timetable and an American timetable from 1983, which was around the time that they introduced the ND-80 to the fleet, which is Red River Aviation's favorite aircraft. So I think he did get this timetable as well, but I'll have to be sure because I'll be very interested to see his Christmas unboxing video that he'll be doing if he does one. If not, make sure to go check out whatever massive unboxing he does, that it does include some portion of the Christmas haul or an unboxing video of some sort. Alright everybody, we're going to go ahead and move on into the model unboxing stuff, which is always the favorite part of these videos, and I'm really looking forward to getting all these models. Super excited about this. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get things started with our first segment for Massive Unboxing number 16, the Retro Edition. Man, I've been just marking this day on my calendar for months because I've just been super excited to do this unboxing. But here we go, folks. We've got the GreenBox Aeroclassics 1:400 scale American Airlines Douglas DC-3 Flagship Detroit. Now, I got this model specifically because Red River Aviation had actually flown on this aircraft. I got it right around the time he had completed the flight and was already working on uploading his content from that. Make sure to go check out that stuff because that is really cool. The fact that you get to fly on the oldest flying DC-3 in the world. And this also does have some applicabilities for my retro FSD project. Now, this wouldn't apply until around 2014 because this exact aircraft actually visited Sioux Falls for the 75th anniversary of the Sioux Falls Regional Airport. So I will have some applicabilities for retro FSD on this, but again, nothing too much here for this model, so this will just be more for the looks. So here's the barcode here for the GreenBox stuff / Aeroclassics. This is like one of their weird sub-brands that they have, so we'll go ahead and get things started. I'm gonna keep the camera zoomed out here a little bit more in this unboxing. So I always have everything zoomed in a little too much, and I'm not sure if people would prefer if I have it zoomed out or not, just so you can see more content. But here we go. Put off the plastic cradle, and here we go. Our first model for Massive Unboxing number 16. There we go. Wow, this thing is absolutely shiny. Holy cow. That's impressive. My third DC-3 in the collection. And here she is, the beauty that she is. The American Airlines DC-3 Flagship Detroit by GreenBox / Aeroclassics. So we'll go ahead and start off at the front here. We got the cockpit windows up here, also the anti-glare nose, and there you have the Flagship Detroit aircraft name just underneath the red sheet line. Got the flagship titles up here, and along with the American Airlines logo. Then the registration, November Charlie 17334, which this is, of course, a pre-1948 aircraft, because after that, the registration prefix was changed to just November. And then we'll flip over to the other side, which is basically the same, no other significant details apart from the fact that we don't think, yeah, okay, that's about the same. But yeah, we don't have a little boarding door there on the right side, on the left side of the aircraft compared to the right side. So go ahead and zoom out here just a little bit and we'll showcase the rest of the aircraft. So trying to get that into focus. So you got the AA initials over there on the starboard wing, and on the port wing you got November Charlie 17334, and then it is the same there on the top with those red accents included on the flaps, ailerons, and all that. Maybe not flaps, and then also onto the horizontal and vertical stabilizers. So really nice little aircraft here from GreenBox / Aeroclassics, released back in I think 2007, I think it was. Jet Collector had a few lying around, so I figured, why not treat myself to one of these, because I liked Flagship Detroit after seeing Red River Aviation stuff. Again, make sure to go check out his stuff on Flagship Detroit if you haven't seen it yet. Really great content, highly recommend it. So hopefully I'll be able to use this for retro FSD when I get into the 2010s, especially for 2014, because I would like to celebrate this occasion. Also, I would need, I think like a Beech 18 or something, or like a Lockheed Electra Model 10A or something for Mid-Continent Airlines, because they were one of the first commercial airlines to serve Sioux Falls with those aircraft. So hopefully I'll be able to find one of those, if not like a Shapeways or something, and I can customize it. But yeah, there we go. That is our first model for Massive Unboxing number 16. Let's move on. And here we go for the unboxing of the Gemini Jets 1:400 scale National Airlines Lockheed L-188 Electra. So of course you got your standard Gemini Jet stuff on here, but of course I got this because I'm very fascinated with all the recent releases that Gemini Jets has been doing regarding the Lockheed L-188 Electra. So we're looking forward to the next one that they've released, which was the Northwest Electra. Pictures actually came out the other nights as I filmed this, so we're looking forward to getting that. And of course, item number, can't forget that with the Gemini models. This one is GJNAL2136. Again, a bit of an awkward angle here because I'm sitting at a chair behind the tripod and the camera, having to work around all this stuff. But yeah, this will be, I believe, my 4th Electra, and we also have one more coming in this unboxing. Really looking forward to it. And here we are, the National Electra. Ooh, nice and shiny there on the bottom. Nice. And here she is, the National L-188 Electra by Gemini Jets. Beautiful looking model here, so let's go ahead and hop in. So starting off at the front, we got the little anti-glare nose there underneath the cockpit windows. Then you got the cockpit windows up here, boarding door up here along with these windows up front. Got the National Airlines titles along with this beautiful cheat line that looks like it's polished, I believe. Let's go and check that. Actually, it looks like a very silvery-ish color with a good polish going for it. And also got the red accent, of course, ahead of that cheat line up there. Also like a very blue, deep blue line over there. Registration November 5017 Kilo, and then we have the national logo there along with the actual logo up there, I believe. So there is that for you. Go and check out the underneath of it. Again, a very shiny underbelly right here, so they did a good job electroplating this, along with the beautiful propellers on the 4 engines. Such a nice looking model. So Don't think National ever had these in the Sun livery, since they were probably gone by that point. So I'll have to look for one of those. But yeah, this is my first National Airlines model, of the old one, of course, because I have the A330 of the new iteration of it, which does mostly charter and cargo stuff. But this one right here was a passenger airline from around 50s, 60s, up to about the 70s or so before Pan Am acquired them, mostly out of the eastern U.S. So when Pan Am bought them up, I think they got a few more domestic destinations, but outside of that, nothing too much. So yeah, that is everything with this aircraft. Such a nice looking model here, and I'm looking forward to perhaps using this in some other retro project, but for now, this will be just for the looks. And I'm really happy about this. My 4th Electra in the collection as the fleet continues to grow. Alright guys, this model I've been super excited about outside of the stuff for my retro FSD project, which I'm super excited to get into here after this upcoming segment, and then we'll move on into the retro FSD stuff. So here we go, folks. This model I've been super excited about, and I'm really looking forward to unboxing this, like I said. And here we go. This is the Dragonwing / JetX 1:400 scale Northwest Airlines Boeing 747-400 with the Thermometer livery. Northwest did get a few of these 747-400s delivered in this paint scheme, as they were the launch customer of this type back in, I think, like 1989. Around this time, they had also introduced their then new bowling shoe paint scheme, which the rest of their 747s would be painted in shortly thereafter. But the first few 744s would get painted in this livery, along with the already existing older 747s that were from the Northwest Orient days. So this is a very unique box. So starting up at the top, we got the Dragonwings logo, limited edition 1,500 units. Got the old Northwest Thermometer logo along with a real-life image of the plane up towards the front. Boeing 747-400, a nice accent going there, or a little design element. Here is the bottom. This is the item number, JX026, Northwest Boeing 747-400, Dragonwings, and then the distributed exclusively by JetX Millennium Series logo. Also got the JetX logo over here, along with a little address there, just a city, state, zip code, and also website, jetx.com, which I don't know if that domain works anymore. Item number up here, and then also the Northwest stuff there once again. There's Waffle's database number, so again, this was bought off of a Waffle collection sale quite a few months back now. Item number up here looks like a little bit of a tear occurred there as I was unwrapping it, so oops. And also back here on the other side as well, looks like we did have a bit of a tear there as well. And then this one is copyright 2000 Dragon Models Limited. And yeah, there was some rattling in here, but I think these models, they're known to come with a stand, so that's probably what I'm hearing here. It's gonna be a bit of an awkward position, so if I look like a fool trying to unbox this, I do apologize. Oh yeah, this opens up from the top and the bottom, not from the sides. I'm used to those other ones, so here we go. Oh god, holy crap, that looks impressive already. Okay, so let's assess the other box elements here. So here we've got the instruction manual for the landing gear, I believe. Yep, this is the landing gear to insert it with the gear up configuration or the gear down configuration, along with the free stand that was included with all Dragonwing / JetX models. So looking forward to using this. So put that off to the side. Maybe I'll put it on the stand towards the end of its segment. And then here we go. This cradle does not fit on my little window ledge studio here. This thing looks so nice, I can already tell. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, wow. Holy crap. Damn. What a beauty she is. That is just amazing. Oh my god. I gotta take a moment just to take in this beauty. Another thing to note too, here is a little bag for the gear stuff as well, which I'll go ahead and leave in the box since I don't want to make a mess out of too much stuff. So yeah, let's move on to the review. And here she is, the JetX Northwest 747-400 Thermometer livery. Gosh, this thing is just amazing when you look at it in person. It's even better when you see it in person. So let's go ahead and get a review started. So starting off up here, we got the black nose, and then we have the cup windows up here, the beautiful white and blue cheat line there across the midsection of the fuselage. Then you got the polished silver up there and also on the belly. And then we'll move back to the rear of the aircraft, got the registration November 661 Uniform Sierra, which is the first Northwest 744. Then you got the American flag up there with a very slanted design, kind of like what Pan Am had during their time. And then we'll flip this over and you can see JetX always included the production number there, so 0376, so I got the 376 model made out of 1,500 total. And yeah, these are kind of sharp up there, almost sliced my finger open with that, but actually no, they're not that sharp, but anyways. Such a nice looking model under here, and then there is a landing gear, of course. It is very simple design, but for 2000 this would be considered acceptable, so I have no complaints here regarding the QC and the build quality of the model overall. So yeah, that is that Northwest 747-400, and that concludes this first segment. We're going to go ahead and move on to the second segment of this unboxing, which is a couple surprise models. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, just like last year, we do have a few surprise models in this unboxing. Last year, I did get 3 surprise models from my parents, and they did choose some really good stuff. It was the KLM Orange Pride 777, Kalita 747-400 mask livery with the flaps down configuration, and the Air Ceylon Hawker Siddeley Trident. So we got some good surprise models this year. We have one model that is very colorful and was just recently released by Gemini Jets. The other comes from overseas, and I don't have much practicality for it, but it does look nice with its current design. And then we also have the first of its kind in my collection. This is a different type of model that I always wanted in my collection, but I could never get myself to get it. So let's go ahead and start off with the stuff, starting it with the earliest in their alphabetical order, and then we'll move towards the end. So first up, our first surprise model we have is the Gemini Jets 1/400 scale Caribbean Boeing 737 MAX 8. So they did a great job choosing this model, I have to say, and I also loved this when they announced this back in the November 2022 releases. So hopefully we got some good stuff coming here, and let's go ahead and check this out. So there's the model inside, your standard Gemini Jet stuff, nothing too unusual here. And then on the back we do have the 2022 release as to be expected with this. And then we have the item number up here, which is GJBWA2121. I think the BWA comes from like the BWIA West Indies or something like that. That's just kind of what I think of when I see it. It may not be correlated in any way, so yeah. Go ahead and hop in. Can't wait to see this beauty. I've been told this is a great model, so hopefully this looks great, and it does. Nice. Looks like I do get some rocket ship engines on this one, but yeah. Considering how Gemini's been on a good improvement streak as of late, I'm not going to complain too much about it. So I'm not going to give Gemini any sort of crap on this one too much for this particular model. So yeah. And here she is, the Caribbean Boeing 737 MAX 8 by Gemini Jets. Such a nice looking model, so let's get started. Starting off at the front, we got the cockpit windows, got the L1 boarding door, the Caribbean titles there with a nice hot pink color to it. Also got the hot pink engines there, which do have a little bit of a rocket ship tilt to it, but it's not all that bad, to be honest. And then we also have the hot pink advanced technology winglets, Boeing 737-8, so they removed the MAX branding following the 2 incidents that we had a few years now. Niner Yankee dash Charlie Alpha Lima is the registration on this one, which again, the camera likes to focus on the winglets because I know they look pretty, camera, but we gotta do a review here, boys. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the tail. A beautiful bird up here, which I'm trying to think what this is, but I can't think of it right now. But either way, this looks very pretty, and I'm sure this is probably a bird that would be native to the Caribbean islands. So yeah, that is that, and then we'll go ahead and flip over. We do have the Caribbean titles there just ahead of the main landing gear there and aft of the nose gear. Also got the registration here underneath the port wing. Yep, that's the port wing. And then we also have the tail there. The tail design kind of loops around underneath the horizontal stabilizers. And they got the landing gear here, which all of them do roll, and thankfully nothing is broken and nothing looks to be missing either. No antennas are missing and all that, which I know people like to complain about, but then again, these are very small parts and they tend to fall out, and there's kind of a reason why there is a disliking to some of these antennas at times, but I do like them as long as they're executed correctly, and if they're not, then they do become an issue rather quickly. So yeah, that's all we have for this model. Let's move on to the next one. So the second model, I don't have much practicality for it, but I can try to do something new with it and also get some other models related to it. But next up, we have the Gemini Jets 1/400 scale Condor Airlines Airbus A321 with the new candy cane livery. So I'm guessing they chose this one because they like the candy cane design of it, because it kind of looks like a candy cane with like the yellow and white alternating stripes and all that fun stuff. So really nice livery right here. I know a lot of people didn't like it when they initially unveiled it, but there has been some growing positivity towards it, and I do appreciate that. People like to hate stuff on it at first, and then they kind of start liking on it afterward. But yeah, standard Gemini Jet stuff here, nothing unusual with this. So we'll go ahead and hop in. So item number on this is GJCFG2149. such a good looking model from in here, and I'm gonna make sure to put this to good use, and there we go. Nice. Nothing broken on this one, thank goodness, because I heard some QC issues with this, but looks like mine came in intact. Oh no, we do have a missing antenna on this one, just ahead of the tail there. You can see, looks like a black hole there, which there should be an antenna right there, but there isn't, which this tends to happen too often. At this point, I don't really care. It is what it is. Not even in the box either, so we'll just have to ignore it. It is what it is, so can't complain. And here she is, the Condor Airbus A321 by Gemini Jets. Starting off at the front, we got the cockpit windows, got the L1 door, the new Condor titles underneath the window line. Then you got the beautiful yellow and white alternating lines that look like a candy cane, which I'll call it the candy cane livery. Registration is Delta-Alpha India Alpha Delta, I believe. Let's go ahead and check that just to confirm. It is indeed. And there is the beautiful Condor tail there. Looks like it says established some year of some sort. I can't really see it through the viewfinder, but I'm sure through editing I can see it much clearly because this camera, again, this does 4K and I love it. Looks like on the winglet we do have some sort of design element on there. I'm going to try and see if I can get the camera to focus on that. God, the one time I can't, I try to get it to focus on the winglets and it doesn't do it. So I believe that's just the Condor logo, and you also see it there on the engines as well. And also on the inside of the winglet, you do have the same yellow candy cane design element. Flip it underneath, we do have the same candy cane design here all the way around the fuselage, and it looks really applicable here. Good design elements, good choices here. Gemini Jet's making the logo very small so that we can't really see it as well. I know they like to put their logo on it, but I think if they keep making the logo smaller, it won't be as noticeable and it won't ruin the look of the model too much if you look at it from underneath. So yeah, another good model here. I could start doing a European airport series if anybody is interested. I know I don't collect that much of that stuff, but I'd be interested in doing it if there is enough demand for it. Even though I am not from Europe, I've never been outside of the country, from my home country, the United States, before. But I would like to visit Europe at some point if plans and time do allow. So hopefully that will be the case in the future. Alright folks, next up we have the final special surprise model before we move on into the retro FSD stuff. Now this type of Gemini Jets model I've always wanted in my collection because I did find it quite fascinating, and although I've had some mixed emotions about it, I have wanted to give it a try, and today I do finally get an opportunity to try it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to present to you the new Gemini Jets 1:400 scale Etihad Cargo Boeing 777 freighter interactive series. My first ever interactive series model, so my parents did an excellent job once again choosing great surprise models this year. So thank you again to my parents for choosing out some really great surprise models again this year. So of course you got your standard Gemini Jets design elements on this box, and you have the little interactive series logo that they introduced with like the opening cargo door to signal that, hey, you can do that kind of stuff. And there it is on the inside. Now, I will point out that there is a QC issue. We do have an engine that has fallen off. Some of the more recent 777 interactive series freighters have been known to come with detached engines, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is at this point. I will fix it later. I'm not going to worry about trying to fix stuff up right now because I just want to get through this unboxing. Here we go on the back. You do have a different image of the plane here, just a little CGI thing. The Gemini Jets logo, and then of course your standard stuff. 2022 release. I think, I'm trying to think when month they release this in, but it's not at the top of my head right now, but I'll try to think of it later. But if I don't, then I'll try to pop up something later on. So item number in this is GJETD2146. They don't have anything on the item number to signal that this is an interactive series. Now, I'm gonna open it like this because I know there's a lot of moving parts and stuff underneath, so I don't want to cause all that stuff to go flying. So go ahead and take off the plastic cradle here. I should have this angled up a little bit more so you can see stuff better, but yeah. Oh, that's interesting. The model is stuck to the plastic cradle there, and oopsie daisy. Hopefully they didn't break anything more. Alright, take this beauty out. Wow, that is cool. Holy cow. Never seen this before. I'm going to take a closer look at this. So the detached engine, no significant chipping on the paint there. Looks like I got all the antenna in and all that stuff. Wings and everything look great. Landing gear looks good and all that fun stuff. So yeah, go ahead and take out all the other pieces as well, just so I can showcase that. So here is the engine that came off, as you can see here. Looks like that'll be a nice clean fit back into the wings, so we'll go ahead and do that. And oh yeah, we do have a nice little tool that comes with all the Interactive Series stuff. It's like a little pin thing, kind of like what you use to eject your SIM card in your smartphone. You can't really see it in there because of the glare, but I will remove it out of the bag here in a moment. And then we also have the various pieces which are included in separate little indentations there in the plastic cradle. So I think this is for the underneath of the cargo door. And then we also have some other pieces. It looks like this one is another little cargo door piece. Both of them come in like open and closed configurations and all that fun stuff. So I'll go ahead and set those up here. Just kind of put them off to the side. And then we have the fun part, which is the big opening door there that you see there on your screen. And here is one of those pieces right there. That is the closed configuration. And I got a couple other pieces in here, which I'm just going to go ahead and flip the box over so I can get those two pieces out. Oops, I think I just dropped one of them. Okay, yep, I got it off the floor. All right, so we're all good. And there are the last two pieces. So there we go. That is everything for the Interactive Series. And I'm going to try and, you know, put something together, and I'll just leave the engine off for now because I don't want to wreck anything. So yeah, there we go. Etihad Interactive Series, everybody. Man, this thing is just a beauty right here. We have the Etihad Cargo 777 freighter by Gemini Jets on the Interactive Series product line. Starting off at the front, we got the cockpit windows, got a little flag there just ahead of the L1 door, so let's go and take a look at that. I think that's just the flag of the United Arab Emirates, which it is. And then you also have the L1 door there, and along with some Arabic text. Got the Etihad Cargo titles, along with another little insignia right over there. It looks like an eagle of some sort. I don't know what that is. You have one of the doors right there, which I just kind of put in there just as sort of a loose fit, which you can see there. It fits kind of cleanly, but I would not recommend having the closed parts on just because you can see those seams around where the door goes in, so I'd highly recommend leaving them in the open configuration if you want a nice, clean-looking model. You have the beautiful Etihad tail up here, which is beautifully replicated on this model. The colors look fantastic on this thing. Registration right down there. We got Alpha 6-Delta Delta Echo. And I'll go ahead and flip it over here. I'm going to go ahead and take out that piece since, again, that's not in there properly, which... Actually, no, if I do tilt it over, it actually, it stays in, so that's actually kind of cool. So go ahead and flip the model over here and just kind of hold this with one hand here so I can zoom out. So there you go. You can kind of see the engine there, or where that engine would go, the one that fell off, rather. So there you have another door that goes in right there, and also another door over there as well. Got the beautiful Etihad Cargo titles there on the belly, along with the Gemini Jets logo. Registration underneath the port wing once again, and yeah, just some beautiful elements on this. Otherwise, outside of that detached engine, there are no other significant QC issues to report on, which is fantastic. Love this thing to bits already, and I can't wait to use this in some extent in a future airport update, which I don't know if these Etihad Cargo 777s fly to the US. I don't know for sure, because the cargo stuff, it always seems to change on a daily basis. Like, you know, one day this plane will come in, and then it won't come in on the next day, and all that, and, you know, this and that, this and that, this and that. There's so many moving parts with a lot of the freighter stuff, so I don't really keep up with it that much, as opposed to the passenger stuff. So yeah, Etihad Cargo 777 freighter, nice, fantastic model, minus the QC fault there with a detached engine, but I'll be more than happy to fix that in my spare time. So we'll go ahead and move on to the fun stuff, which is retro FSD. Alright folks, this has been the part that I've been most excited about in Massive Unboxing number 13, the retro FSD unboxing stuff. So here we go. So first up we have the Aeroclassics 1:400 scale Delta Airlines Douglas DC-950. So this particular aircraft flew into Sioux Falls from 2009 up until around 2011 or 12 or so. By that point, they had switched out everything to the Airbus A320 family aircraft, which is what they're still using to this day. So these aircraft came over from North Central, which went on to Republic, then to Northwest, and then finally to Delta, which is where they were retired. So that is where we stand here. This is a standard blue box Aeroclassics stuff, 1:400 scale there on the bottom left, and then we do have the beautiful Delta logo right there, November 787, November Charlie. Got the waffle database number in there as well. And yeah, this is just kind of a blank box, so nothing too special here with the design of this one. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And oh yeah, we do have a significant QC problem with this one. I heard some rattling and noticed some pieces were floating around in the plastic cradle, and yeah, that ain't good. Crap on a cracker on top of cheese. It looks like everything's in there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and unbox this off camera. Actually, no, I need to unbox this on camera so I have evidence, just in case anything goes wrong. Okay, so let's go ahead and take out the remains of this unfortunate model, which I may not be able to do a review on this because, yeah, just about every piece on this model is broken, as you can see. Main landing gear has been detached, and also the port horizontal stabilizer has been detached as well, which we do have right in here. Also do have the main landing gear as well, which I'll go ahead and try to remove here. There's one of them, and the other right by the nose wheel area. So yeah, that is where we stand with this model. It looks quite unfortunate that this model came broken, especially for what I paid for this thing, which I know I've said this before, and I'll kind of say it again. I shouldn't really have to get broken stuff, especially for what we're paying for these things nowadays. Now, granted, this was a used model since it came from a collection sale, so maybe I shouldn't be too hard on it, but I think Waffle should kind of inspect his stuff a little bit more often in case there are broken pieces and all that. But granted, he does ship out thousands of models on a daily basis. Maybe not on a daily basis, but it is on a monthly basis at the very least. And thus, some stuff can go underneath the radar. So unfortunately, we do have a bit of a broken Delta DC-950 here, which is quite unfortunate. I was looking forward to doing this model, but we're not off to a great start here for this portion of the 13th massive unboxing here on the channel. Not looking great, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on from this because I don't know what else I can do with this other than just kind of showcase that, hey, this thing is broken. But yeah, there's just a quick look at it just for kicks and giggles. So yeah. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. The good news is, though, we don't have to worry about broken models anymore because as far as I know, none of the other ones are broken. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next model, which is the Gemini Jets 2 1/400 scale United Airlines Boeing 737-300 in the blue Tulip livery. Now, United sent the 737s again after they restarted their Denver mainline service in around 2007. So they sent both the 737-300 and also the smaller 737-500. But I did find that the 300 was a little bit more common than the 500, so I chose the former in this case. I may get the 500 at a later date just to showcase that they did fly two different types. This I got off of eBay just on a random sale, so again, it was a really great find and at a good deal as well. So there's your standard Gemini Jet stuff here for the Gemini Jets 2 era, released in 2004. So item number on this beauty right here is GJUAL 498. Let's go ahead and hop in. Just kind of thrown off there. Now you can see the plastic cradle has yellowed a little bit, and that's to be expected with these older models because, yeah. All right, our first non-broken retro FSD model, and we are looking good. This thing is nice and beautiful right here. Super happy to have this. Nice. That's my alarm. And here she is, the United 737-300 in the blue Tulip livery by Gemini Jets. Starting off with the front, got the cockpit windows up there. Also got some eyebrow windows. Got the L1 door, the United logo. There's also the little Star Alliance logo between the cockpit windows and the L1 door. American flag up here. This model is a little bit tail heavy, as an easy tap there on the back. Just like that there. That's a little bit more of a forced tap. Will tip the model over. The registration on this, November 366 Uniform Alpha. You got the blue Tulip there, of course. Go ahead and flip it over. We do have the Gemini Jets logo underneath, and there you go. Also along with a nice little silver underbelly area there, just kind of in the center, away from the blue underbelly. Got some overwing exit markings up there as well, along with the little tip there on the winglets there. It might be like an antenna of some sort, but they did replicate this pretty well. No antennas on this, but this is a 2004 model, so nothing really, not much else to expect with this one. So yeah, there we go. Good applicability for the 2000s retro FSD portion of the project, which this will be featured in a couple upcoming updates. So looking forward to doing those, and we'll go ahead and move on. Get on board for the next model because we have the Gemini Jets 1/400 scale America West Express Canada Air CRJ 200. And notice what I did there in the intro. Yeah, try to be cool right there. So we got a bit of a unique box art on this one. We've got the America West Get on Board stuff under there, along with a nice like mesa or terracotta colored box in there. Also like a nice teal color as well. And on the back, this is I believe this is like a 2005 release maybe. I'm trying to check here. There's not a release year on this thing, so I cannot be certain on what this is. But yeah, this was released sometime in the mid-2000s, and this particular aircraft did fly to FSD from Phoenix in between late 2004 and early 2006. So it was on a CRJ-200. I did do some further digging and couldn't really find much else on this, but I did find this RJ-2 for a good price on eBay. It's possible that they may have sent the RJ-9 even as well, which that one is much harder to find, but I think for now this RJ-2 will do well if that is the case. But I think it's an RJ-2 since I did check. So under number on this one right here is GJAWE 514. Get my thumb in there. There we go. Nice plastic cradle on this one, of course. And one of the many CRJs that I need for this project. Yeah, so a lot of the retro FSD stuff is mainly regional jets, and there we go. Nice. What a beautiful colored model this is. A bit darker color than I was expecting. And here she is, the America West Express CRJ 200 by Gemini Jets. Start off with the front, got the cockpit windows, got the landing gear, which is pretty good actually on this model. It is taller than it should be, or at least what it is on the other CRJs that I have. Got the America West Express titles, and you have the little America West logo there on the engines with that slightly lighter teal color. Also have it there on the tail as well in that bright red color. Registration on this thing is November 37218 rather. So there's the tail number for that particular model. Underneath we do have our standard Gemini Jet stuff, got the little logo there and the stand hold of course, and also got pretty much everything painted in this teal color. This wing surfaces, the horizontal stabilizer surfaces, kind of a nice color. I kind of wish airlines would paint their wings again because it actually looks really nice, but I can understand why painting wings, or not painting wings, would be the better decision since it does cost less to paint less stuff and it also takes up less weight. So yeah, there we go. That is the America West CRJ 200, and we are now moving on to our final model for the 2000s, which is a model I've been super excited about, and I've talked about it many times in my retro FSD stuff. Alright, this is a model that I've been looking forward to getting, but I could never ever find it for any reason. I only found an eBay listing, which, I mean, that's a story for another time, but it was worth it in the end because I finally have this model in my collection, and it is the Gemini Jets 1:400 scale Northwest Airlink Masaba Saab 340B in the bowling shoe livery. This is a model I've been looking forward to getting for this project, and I'm super excited to be unboxing it here today. So let's go ahead and take a look. Such a tiny model, especially for where it was at in terms of the pricing, but yeah, there you go. And then on the back, this is a 2013 release. Standard Gemini Jet stuff here, nothing unusual. Item number on this, I'm just going to adjust myself here, is GJNWA 1242. Oh my goodness, I've been excited to unbox this ever since I successfully got this model. Oh yes. Oh yeah, that is the stuff. Wow, this has like no weight to it. But the fact that I have this model today is just impressive. Take a moment to look at this thing. What a beauty. I have the camera zoomed in way too much for this because, again, this is a very tiny model. This is barely bigger than my thumb, so yeah, that's kind of the scale that we're working with here in 1:400. But this right here is the Northwest Airlink Saab 340 operated by Saab Airlines with the bowling shoe livery. Starting off at the front, we've got the cockpit windows up there, a little bit of an anti-glare there. That might be just the windshield, or windshield wipers rather. Got the operated by Saab Airlines titles just after the L1 door right there. I got some other little minor details that they were able to put in there. Northwest Airlink titles, and then you have the registration November 423 X-Ray Juliet. Got the Northwest Bowling Shoe logo up there. And then we'll go ahead and flip it over, which should have just about the same stuff, but no operated by Saab logo there. That'll be my second Saab 340 and the last one that I need, thankfully. Apart from the final livery Saab 340 and the Delta Saabs, which I'm not going to worry about too much, but they did fly into Sioux Falls from time to time, but I think this bowling shoe one was the most common out of them all because he's actually stuck around all the way up until the Delta merger, surprisingly. So you got the gray underbelly under here with the little, very tiny Gemini Jets logo, you can barely see it, along with the stand hole, and of course the wings. So yeah, that is everything with this particular era for the Retro FSD project. Major check marks crossed off, thankfully, and I'm super happy to have all these models. And let's go ahead and move on to some of the more fun stuff. Let's move back in time to the 80s and the 90s. Alright, this era has a lot of exciting stuff. We got some more models that I've been really looking forward to getting ever since I found these models for some good prices. So first up for this era, we have the Gemini Jets 2 1-400 scale Northwest Airlines Douglas DC-930 in the bowling shoe livery. Now you'll notice that there is a fire truck because I bought this model from the folks over at West Coast Diecast, my first purchase from them. Pretty good store, I would recommend them. They do include free GSC with every order that you make, and this is one of them right here, a little fire truck that I did request, of course, and it looks really solid here. Just a 3D printed resin fire truck, so no significant decals on here, but you could probably add your own, and I'll be sure to have some sort of use for this in the future. So I'm going to put that off to the side, and we'll go ahead and move on to the model, of course. So let's go ahead and check out the unboxing, the Gemini Jets 2 1-400 scale Northwest DC-930. So go ahead and flip it open there. There you can see the beautiful model inside, a big plastic cradle there for this kind of small model. Released in 2003, of course, and obviously nothing unusual here with the Gemini Jets box. And a number on this is GJ-NWA481. They did have the Thermometer DC-930 as well, but I chose to pass on that, mainly because I wasn't too sure if they had flown those into Sioux Falls, but I think they did for a couple of years after their Republic merger, and before the bowling shoe livery was introduced. So here we go. Big check mark right here for the project. Checked off successfully, and a beautiful looking model here in the Northwest DC-930 bowling shoe livery. And here she is, the Northwest DC-930 in the bowling shoe livery by Gemini Jets. Now this is the big model here for the Retro FSD project because this flew into Sioux Falls from around the very late 1980s up until around the early 2000s before all the new livery DC-9s came in. So super excited to have this model. This is a major check mark that I can finally check off for the Retro FSD checklist. Starting off at the front, we got the cockpit windows up here, got the L1 door, a little fleet number there just ahead of the L1 door, Northwest titles along with the American flag, and then we move on towards the registration, November 612, November Whiskey. Got the Northwest logo up there for the bowling shoe era, and also a beautiful cheat line there. I'll go ahead and zoom in on that fleet number there. Oops, that's a little too far. 9612 looks to be the fleet number on this, and a very nice applicable model, of course, as well. Underneath, you got the Gemini Jets logo and the stand hole, your standard Gemini Jets details, and nothing too interesting here to note on this model. And there we go. That is the Northwest DC-930 bowling shoe, another critical model for Retro FSD, and you will be seeing this used in a lot of airport updates moving forward for Retro FSD. This model right here, I've been talking about time and time again, and I was super happy to find this recently, about a couple months ago now at this point, but this is another huge check mark for Retro FSD, and I do have a bit of an interesting story to talk about it before I unbox it, so I'll get into that whilst I'm reviewing the box. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Gemini Jets 1-400 scale Delta Airlines Boeing 737-200 in the Widget livery. Man, I feel so good to have this model. So, a bit of an interesting story as to how I got this model. I'll go and discuss this because I think it's pretty important to know kind of how I got this. So, it was a Friday night, late October, and I had caught wind from another collector that there was a Waffle Collectibles collection sale being posted. So, I alerted a good buddy of mine, Red River Aviation, who was actually in a Discord voice call with me. We were just kind of talking in private, if you will. So he did end up coming across this Delta 737-200 widget first, and if you do watch his stuff, you may be aware of his retro Tulsa airport project that he is doing. And now, for the Delta planes that he does need a 727-200 and DC-930 in the widget livery, and he also does need the 737-200 in the widget livery. So as soon as he saw this, he did alert me to it, and he allowed me to have it. So I do want to extend a huge thanks to him for allowing me to get it to him. So back to Red River Aviation, I do want to wish him best of luck on finding one of these models in the future, because I know that these things are really hard to find, and on eBay they go for ridiculous prices, and I mean ridiculous. $150 that these things are selling for sometimes, and it is just out of my mind. It's flabbergasting that these things sell for that much. So for the fact that I got it for the price I did on the Waffle Collection sale, which is less than half of how much those things have been selling on eBay, is just impressive. So again, Red River Aviation, thank you so much for alerting me to this model and allowing me to get it. I do hope that you will find one yourself in the future for your Retro Tulsa Airport project. And I do know that Aeroclassics did leak sort of a Delta 737-200 widget. So I'm not sure if they will release it here in the upcoming January releases, or if not, in a little bit later in the future. So hopefully you do find a Delta 737-200 widget. I've been checking eBay for him too as well, just to see if he could be able to get one. There's one on eBay right now, but starting bid is like 80 bucks, so no, that is not going to work. And of course, with this being an old model, the plastic cradle has yellowed extremely badly. Yeah, that is not the kind of cradle you want, but that's not going to affect the quality of the model all that much. So, yeah, we do have the standard Gemini Jet stuff for the time, released in 2003, right before the Gemini Jets 2 transition. Under number on this is GJDAL 170. Oh man, this is something that I've been waiting for months and months. Oh, yes, sir. Oh, man. Oh, it's just this top piece that is yellowed, like, really badly. I mean, look at this. That's just ridiculous. The bottom piece isn't yellowed as much. All right, bring this in closer. Oh, man. Oh, holy crap. This feels so cool to hold. Ah, this is so good. Oh, man. I am just so ecstatic to have this. Just unbelievable. Oh man, I spent way too much time just going crazy over this model as soon as I unboxed it. Just absolutely insane to me. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gemini Jets 1 to 400 scale Delta Airlines Boeing 737-200. Such a beautiful, beautiful model. I'm very happy to have this again. Thank you, Red River Aviation, for alerting me to this model and letting me get it. I can't extend enough thanks to him for alerting me to it. I have to thank him so much for it. Starting off at the front, we got the cockpit windows, got the, well actually this is the cockpit windows up here, you got the black nose of course. The other little widget just in front of the L1 door, got the beautiful deep blue cheat line along with the Delta widget titles and also the Delta widget logo on the tail. Registration is November 331 Delta Lima, so this is one of the original Delta 737-200s. Most of the ones that Delta would have operated into Sioux Falls, which was from around 1987 up until 1994, they would have all been ex-Western aircraft, but there may have been times where they sent in a random original Delta 732 aircraft. So there's the underneath. We got the Gemini Jets logo along with the landing gear stuff, a beautiful polished underbelly, and there's a nice little red beacon for detail as well, and overall just a beautiful, beautiful looking model. I think this is my first 737-200 as well. Or actually, no, this is my second because I have a Pan Am one already, but this is the first 732 that I'm going to be using in a video outside of the unboxing. So really excited to have this model today, folks. And again, I hope that Aeroclassics releases one at some point, because Squatchy's Diecast actually did get one of these in as like sort of a sample. So I'm not sure what happened there, if they were mistakenly sent to that retailer and they ended up selling out, because I think they only had one of them. So one of each of both this livery and also the Delta Express livery, which I'll go ahead and pop up a photo on your screen of what that looks like, which does have the updated Delta titles, which were introduced in around 1995. So yeah, that is everything for our 90s and 80s, and now we have just a few more models left, and they're all the old school stuff. Some of the stuff that we'll be cranking way back to some of the early eras, the 70s and beyond. So since I was enjoying the Widget 737 too much, I completely forgot about one model that we had for this era. So let's go ahead and unbox that before we move on into some of the older stuff. So this one right here is a newer release by Aeroclassics, but is another major check mark for the project because it is the Aeroclassics 1 to 400 scale Ozark Airlines Douglas DC-930 with the later stripes livery. So this was released in November, and the releases were actually leaked before the official release announcement, and I was super happy to see this Ozark. It has been just impressive that they released one of these things. I've been requesting Aeroclassics to release one of these, but let's go and take a look at the box. So we got the Aeroclassics logo up here, nice cutout, Douglas DC-9, 1 to 400 scale, and you have your standard DC-9 stuff around here, and then here you go. This is the one that we have here. Ozark logo there, and also on the tail as well, along with the barcode there. And then here's the back of the box, your standard DC-9 Aeroclassics stuff, which is to be expected. Let's go ahead and unbox this, and then afterward, we'll review it, and then move on into some of the other stuff. And thankfully, this DC-9 is in much better condition than the Delta that we unboxed earlier. Oh man, I've been so excited for this one as well. Yes! What a beauty she is. My first Ozark jet. I'll need a couple more of these, but I'll take this one for the moment, as it's the only one that is readily available, or was readily available, because now these things are sold out basically, and the ones that I've seen on eBay have been going for horrendous prices, to say the least. Another big check mark for the project, we have the Aeroclassics 1 to 400 scale Ozark Airlines DC-930. Start off at the front, we got the cockpit windows along with eyebrow windows, got the L1 door, the beautiful Ozark titles there, and the green stripes that go towards the back. Also with a little Ozark rectangle with the 3 swallows on the tail, which represented the on-time performance of the airline because of the legend of swallows over in California that would arrive every day at that location on around March 19th. So that's kind of the legend of that, but I don't think they do that anymore, unfortunately. Registration right there is November 983 Zulu, and then of course the gear, which look perfect. And here is the underneath of it, beautiful looking model right here, a nice light gray color underbelly. And of course your standard Aeroclassic stuff here with no antennae except for a beacon. Very greasy model again, so that just tends to be how it is today. So anyways, yeah, so another big check mark for the project for the 90s and the 80s. This operated up from around 1979. That was around the time they introduced this livery, up until 1986 when they merged with TWA, and thus the Twin Stripes DC-930 came in. So I will need to find one of those at some point, but the problem is they are very hard to find, and I don't know if Aeroclassics will release another one. So we're just gonna have to do what we can here with what we have. So now let's move on to the older eras. So this is another era that I got some pretty big check marks for, but again, I won't be reaching this era for a while, but it doesn't hurt to get a good head start on some of the stuff. So first up for this era, we have the Gemini Jets 1 to 400 scale North Central Airlines Convair 580. Running low on battery here, I'm going to try and do this all in one clip, so hopefully I won't run out of battery, but yeah, so our standard Gemini Jet stuff released in June 2019, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's pretty much everything with it. Yep, 2019 release. Found this on an eBay listing, and these aircraft operated from around the early 1970s up until 1979 when they merged with Southern Airways to form Republic Airlines, and thus the Republic Convair 580 came into play. So item number on this is GJ-NOR 1162. So the eBay listing I found this was actually a really good price, especially for how much these things typically go for on some of the other listings I've seen, and they don't pop up very often, so I was really happy to get one of these. Oh man, nice! Super happy to have this. My goodness, this thing is just, oh man. There you are, Herman. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing great. Merry Christmas. And here she is, the North Central Convair 580 by Gemini Jets. Another big check mark that I can check off for the Retro FSD project, and this will complement the Republic one that I have really well. Now I'm hoping that they will do some sort of the hybrid Convair 580s that did exist, especially with the Republic era, which had the North Central livery applied to it, but just with the Republic titles inserted instead of North Central. And I'm hopeful that that Gemini Jets will also do the Northwest Convair 580, which also existed for a time, but I don't think those flew into Sioux Falls, because by that point, Northwest wanted to do just all jet stuff. So starting off with the front, we got the little fleet number there, which I think that's 541 if I'm not mistaken. Got the cockpit windows there, the beautiful aqua blue cheat line. Got the North Central titles up there, November 2041 is the registration. Our lovely friend Herman the Duck on the tail, which you can see on the logo that you've been seeing there in the bottom right of your screen, and also in the intro of this very video. Underneath, got a nice, beautiful, polished underbelly here, which was kept in really good condition by the previous owner, so I do thank that owner for allowing me to get this off of him. This guy also had a DC-930 of North Central, but since I have a Series 50, I figured I'd hang on to that, but I really needed a Series 30 as well, though, so I felt a bit bad for missing out on it, but I can't complain because I got this beautiful Convair 580. All right, 2 more models to go, so we'll hopefully be good there on camera battery. I know last year we were a little bit sketchy on that, but thankfully this year has been much better. Next up, these last 2 models are of the first of the airline, of this new airline that I have in my collection. So this is the first time we'll be unboxing this airline on the channel. So first up, we have the Aeroclassics 1 to 400 scale Western Airlines Lockheed L188 Electra. Super happy to have this Electra. This will be my 5th Electra overall and my first from Aeroclassics, as the last 4 I have obviously are all Gemini Jets. So this is just a blank GreenBox model here, nothing too specific. I don't think this is labeled as a GreenBox, but do have a little adult collectible model warning there on the left side of the box, and here is just a blank GreenBox. Nothing too unusual here, and try to get in a position here to unbox this thing, which, oh, this does not unbox, or no, wait, I was holding it the wrong way. Yeah, there we go. Let's get this beauty open. Ooh, I didn't realize this. Wow, this actually comes with a free set of stairs, and beautifully fit as well, because that is actually, taped here on the bottom of the plastic cradle, it is a Western Airlines staircase. Nice. I did not know about this, so thanks to that eBay seller too. I did not realize that it came with that, so that is wonderful. We'll put that off to the side, and I'll showcase that later on. Actually, it's about to unbox it off camera. My goodness, I've been struggling here. I mean, I just want to be finished here, but I've been enjoying this unboxing process this entire time. So don't take it as if I hate doing these videos, because I still love doing them. Oh man, nice. This Electra has a much different feel to it compared to the old one. It looks like there might be some. Looks like got a bit of a little thing there on the top. I can't tell what that is. Looks like scratching, maybe? Ugh. Paint does look interesting, but yeah, I'm not sure that's supposed to be like that. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. That might be from the previous owner. Maybe it wasn't really stored properly, but actually it does make the model look a little weathered in a way, so it kind of looks a little more natural, so kind of a blessing in disguise, if you will. Such a nice looking model right here, but here we are. We have the Aeroclassics Western L188 Electra. Starting off at the front, we got the black nose, got the cockpit window, the little Indian head there. This is the 4-stripe chieftain livery, which is actually an older iteration of what era this aircraft would have flown into Sioux Falls in. This is during the 1960s, and this is from the very late 1950s, but it is possible for the early part of the 60s that this livery would have been present in Sioux Falls. So we got the big Western titles up on top, and we got the little Western red shape right there. November, I think that's 7135 Charlie, if I remember correctly. That's the registration of this aircraft. And I love Western Airlines because of their little Wally Bird thing, which always sat on the top of the aircraft. And while it wasn't used on the official Western livery, it was really cool to see that kind of stuff. That was introduced a little bit later, I think in like the 60s or so, known for the bird that says, Western Airlines, the only way to fly. I can't do that thing right now, but I'll link some commercials to Western Airlines in the description if you want to see those, because I find them really fascinating. So let's move on to the final model and then a quick outro. Our last model for the unboxing, we have the Aeroclassics 1:400 scale Western Airlines Douglas DC-6B. So this is a last-minute addition to the Christmas list. I actually found this on an eBay auction, which only had one bid, surprisingly, so I was the only one that bid on it and won the auction, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, we have our standard Aeroclassics box, just a little cutout with a blue outline. Got the Aeroclassics logo up top. Got the Aeroclassics website, which is the old one, by the way. It's aeroclassicsdirect.com now. 1:400 scale, made in China, the adult collectible model warning, and nothing there on the back. So I apologize if I move in a little quicker here. I am running low on battery, and I just want to make sure I can get this all in one take without having to swap out batteries. So here we go. I did have this model inspected when it came in, so that way nothing was broken on this, and thankfully there isn't. I've been excited about this one as well, because I've always wanted a DC-6B with this chieftain livery, and there we go. Nice. This is the older release, I should mention as well, November 93127. 93118 is the newer release, and I would have wanted to get that, but I'm more than happy with this older release from around 2005 by Aeroclassics. Solid model right here, very applicable. Oh yeah, included was a little handwritten note just about the product in here. You can see there, it just says used and an AC Western DC-6B along with the registration. So thank you to the seller that included that in there. Maybe a little redundant, but I am more than happy with that note. And here she is, the Aeroclassics Western DC-6B. Western Airlines began service to Sioux Falls in 1955. They operated various aircraft like the DC-3, Convair 240s, and of course, later the DC-6s. So the DC-6s were common towards the end of the 1950s before the Electras came in, and then eventually afterward from the Electras, the jet aircraft came in. So starting off here at the front, we've got the little anti-glare black nose there. Western Airlines titles, the cockpit windows, got the little Indian head there with the 4-stripe chieftain again. Got the Western titles right there and the Western logo there on the tail. November 93127 is the registration, like I said. And the propellers, they do spin on this wonderful model right here, and they're very loose as well. So they spin nice and free, but not enough to where they'll easily fall off. And then we'll flip this underneath. You can see this is a cradle mold, a one-piece mold, so it does have that seam, but I'm not going to complain here because this is a very solid model nonetheless. So, yeah. And that is everything for Massive Unboxing number 13. Super happy about everything that we got here, so let's go ahead and do a quick outro before my camera battery runs out. Alright, so I have everything all loosely set up here on my table, as you can see. So there you go, you kind of got the stand right there. And obviously all of the very applicable models right here from Massive Unboxing number 13. Those are surprise models, of course. Also this big one right here, which unfortunately has that little issue there, but it is what it is. And everything in between. So I want to thank everybody for watching this video if you stuck all the way through. And I'm super excited about everything that I got here in this unboxing. Apart from this unfortunate incident right there, but hopefully I'll be able to fix it up later. So yeah, that will do it. So with that being said, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas with friends and family, and I hope you get wonderful gifts as well. And I'll catch you guys next year in 2023. So I'll have a Retro FSD update towards the end of the year if everything goes to plan, but otherwise, I will see you guys next year. So have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year, have a healthy and prosperous 2023. Take care, guys.